He coached against Kobe last night. Brett Brown, the 76ers head coach, who joins us now. Coach, congratulations on the first win of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Did you celebrate last night?
A little bit we did. You feel, a tiny bit guilty because it is, like you say, it's just a win. But for our young team, it matters. And there was a quiet, tiny celebration that I suppose we're not ashamed of.
How do you talk to them since they are so young? But they're not experienced. They haven't experienced losing because most of them have been successful to get to this point. You don't want to get used to losing. So your job as a coach is what when it comes to that topic?
I try to share the stories that I was privileged to have with Pop and the Spurs for 12 years. We saw 5 NBA championships and won 4 of them. And so to be able to share stories with what we have as the youngest team in the history of the NBA on championship habits. We talk a lot about routine. We talk about knocking out good days. We talk a lot about the true belief that they will add up. And, amazingly to me, I think probably my greatest challenge is, keeping a locker room together when you do lose at the rate that we have lost. And the young guys are great. They do knock out good days. They have stayed together. To me, that's, my best way to keep moving the program forward and to hold the locker room together, making them better.
The Jahlil Okafor situation, has losing, I don't want to make excuses for him, but has losing played a role in his personality here, what's happened here in the last couple of weeks?
I think we'd all be naive to think that it doesn't have some level of effect. He has been used to winning. He is, one of the major faces of the program. He is a prideful young man, and so, you add it all up, not to make excuses, but I think, out of just fairness and reality, I believe a portion of it has impacted that mindset.
It's a young team. You don't have that veteran who can grab him and say, hey, don't go down that road. Do you think that do you have somebody who's able to do that? Because now I'm hearing, do you guys have security that is now assigned to Jahlil Okafor?
Well, there's, I think this incident has, forced everybody to sort of look at it a little bit closer. And like anything, there are areas you wish you did better, you could do better, or areas that you're proud of that were already in place. I think the realization that, we have to really create an environment that's a lot different. This is not a typical NBA job we have here. And I think, veterans, we do have Carl Landry. I have experienced people like Jay Rich. A lot of it falls on me and the coaching staff where we end up sort of the veteran senior voices. That's just how the team has been built. It's my job to sort of, coach what we have and move it forward. And I think that what we're learning and what we have had in place is going to have to be sort of the cornerstone of how we govern these young guys and the security and the discipline and all those things. I think that we're on the right track.
Have you talked to him?
Oh, geez, I am a father of a teenager too. And so, even last night, Dan, you're talking to Jahlil and he sort of humbly admits like he wasn't even born when Kobe had his first NBA season. And I enjoy this side of it in sort of a twisted way. You got, a lot of responsibility talking with these guys and growing them as people and professionals and habits and routines and social media and inner circles. It's never ending. Apart from this is how we got to pick and roll or this is what play we're going to run. So with all my guys, Nerlens, Jahlil, et cetera, I talk to them often and I do enjoy it. You sort of put your parent hat on as you're looking at these young guys.
He's Brett Brown, the 76ers head coach. They got the Knicks coming up tonight. Joining us, Dan Patrick Show. We look at everything in wins and losses, but in a situation like you have in Philadelphia, how do you know you've done a good job?
I look at the improvement. It's asked of me often, and it's a fair question. And you sort of go in different places. They end up in the same place. It's development. I look at the coaching staff that we've assembled where we've grown an incredibly gifted coaching staff, and that doesn't sort of reflect itself in a win-loss area. I think if you look at the progress of Jeremy Grant, who's clearly blossoming into something I think quite special, or Robert Covington, who's now been with us for a year and a half, or Hollis Thompson, who's been with me, funny enough, is like the veteran over 2.5 years. And so you start pointing. Yeah, I mean, that's my band. That's my senior player. And, I mean, I was with, Pop and Timmy and Tony and Mono for 12 years, and I just don't have that luxury. We had 47 players last year. I had 7 point guards. And you just, you roll through different people. It's just a phase and stage that we're at trying to grow our program. But I go back to, the sports science area, the development of the coaching staff. I spend as much time coaching the coaches as you do with the players who are trying to figure out a routine and a system together. I love my staff. You have to if you're going to go through the volume of losses that we have. So I think those are sort of our measuring sticks as we navigate, this stage of our program.
Do you think Joel Embiid ever plays for you again?
I do. I do. And I think if you sort of knew him from the past and now see him now, the reality that, you may never play the game again. And in candid conversations that I have with Joel, like, seriously, Joel, what would you do if somebody said you're not going to play basketball anymore? Where does your life go? And the discipline to just be A++ with recovery and routines and diets and habits, you're looking at a person that first is a little bit older. And second of all, and maybe this is as good as it gets, is there's a fear that maybe he won't play again. And then which way does your life turn? What do you do? And so I'm seeing a more serious, a little bit scared in a good way. I think the support staff and the infrastructure that we have placed around him in Philadelphia to make sure we just do not miss a beat. He is a legitimate talent. People that haven't seen him, and I've been around enough good players to get excited, he's for real. And so I do hold hope. I think that we haven't skipped any steps with his recovery, his return to play, and I do believe he will play for the 76ers.
Final 30 seconds. Did you do anything differently strategically with Kobe Bryant last night?
Yeah. It's funny because I get angry with my assistant. I've coached against Kobe in the London Olympic Games. I've coached against him with Pop in, many Western Conference situations, championships, etc. I've coached him with Pop in 2 All-Star games. And so you've seen him for many years all over the world. And you realize quickly, like, he can do what he did. Everybody's saying, he's down and out. And he comes out and goes whack, 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 and makes his first 3 threes. And, our guys, if you look at their expression, they're almost, childish in the way that they're looking at it. I think we were all sort of awestruck. I wished I sort of double-teamed him and pretended I was smarter than I seemed to be on the night. But no to your question. We played him single coverage, and, he still had a hell of a game.
Congrats on the win, Coach. Good luck against the Knicks. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right, and that's Brett Brown, 76ers head coach.